Here we have the inside of the Sterling Eccles Sport 442. If we firstly come to the main control panel just here, we have the power button just here, so 12 volt off, 12 volt on. It will give you an indication letting you know that you are using the caravan leisure battery, and you will always get an illumination here whenever you are hooked up to main supply. Next we have water pump on and off. Water pump needs to be on so we can get water out of the taps and fill the boiler if it's been drained down. The view levels button will just show you the level of the leisure battery, and at the moment it's going to register completely full because we're hooked up to the main supply and it is currently under charge. If you were hitched up to your tow vehicle and you press view levels, it would give you an indication of the leisure battery plus the level of your tow vehicle's battery. Beside this, we then have the control panel for the truma heating and hot water. Turn it on the middle button just here, and then you will see that as we rotate the button, the icons will begin to flash. If we start with the first icon just here, this one is for your heating, and if I now press the button, you'll see that currently the heating is off. All I now do is rotate the button and then pick whatever temperature we would like it to be inside the caravan, and it will go right the way up to a rather toasty 30 degrees. So if I now select 20 degrees and click on the button, it will then store it in, and you'll see a little flame has appeared above. That little flame there just represents the heating system as just letting you know that you have set a parameter. Whenever the heating is in operation, the flame will steadily flash until it achieves the temperature you have asked it to. The thermostat is just here. If we now move to the next icon, this one here is for your hot water, and again if I now click the button, hot water is off. Again, if I now rotate, we can heat hot water to about 40 degrees, and if I rotate again to about 60, and if I rotate for a third time, we can perform a boost on the boiler. The boost was mainly designed for if there's going to be more than one of you having showers in quick succession of each other, or if you would just prefer a longer shower. If I do perform the boost and the heating's running, the heating will turn off because it needs to take that power to perform the boost. But I will now put it in to 40. And you should see that the heating will come back on in a second, and they will now both flash until they've achieved the temperature we've asked. If we now rotate to the next icon, this one here is power source selection. So we are currently using mains electricity at 2 kilowatts. If I rotate the button, we can lower the power consumption to 1 kilowatt, so if we're on a low amp site, to aid us in not tripping. We can run in dual fuel, so we can run on a mixture of gas and mains at 2 kilowatt. This particular setting is extremely handy, especially in the winter months if you want to get up to temperature nice and quickly. It will only consume gas as it's required. We then have a mixture of gas and mains electricity at 1 kilowatt, and then if we have no mains supply, we can solely run on the gas. And as you can see, it's always displayed above. So we've got a gas bottle just for gas, gas with mains at 1, gas with mains at 2, mains 1, mains 2. After power source selection, we then have circulation fan. So at the moment, the fan for the heating is in eco mode. We can turn it up to high if needed. If I now rotate again, we drop to the lower icons. This first one here is for a basic timer. So we literally just pick when we would like the system to come on and when we would like it to finish. and then we just decide what we want on within that time period. Lastly, timer on or off. If I now activate the timer, you'll now see that within that time period those settings will then apply. If I now return to the timer, I can turn it back off again, and when we return to it we can then alter it again. After timer set, we then just have clock set, and then just beside where it's letting us know we have main supply connected, we have the settings menu. In there we have index, which is more for the technicians. It just lets them know what software it's running. We then have brightness of the screen, language, full factory reset, offset, which is just for the thermostat just here. If you don't think it's quite correct, you can just adjust it by a few degrees. From time to time, these control panels may throw up error codes. So if you lose main supply, it will throw up an error code. If you're trying to run it on gas and you don't have any gas, etc. I will now demonstrate an error code. So if I now just come to where the consumer unit is, on the top of it we have isolator buttons, and this one here is for the heating and the hot water. So if I now turn it off and now return, you'll see an error has appeared, and if I now click on it, it will let us know what the problem is. So W45H is the error code for I have lost main supply. So if we now rectify the problem, so if I now turn the isolator back on again, and return back, if we now rotate towards it, you'll see it's now disappeared. So 9 times out of 10, as long as you rectify the problem, it will disappear. If that hadn't just disappeared as it had as I rotated the buttons, just go back to that triangle and double click on it. It will sometimes then say no error and disappear. If that still doesn't work, if you still have stuff running like I have, just go to them and turn them off, because it can sometimes reassess a hell of a lot faster when it's not trying to do lots of things at once. If you still have the error code, I then always say do the old-fashioned turn it off, turn it back on again. And if that still doesn't work, I then always suggest doing the factory reset. If we now go back to the location of the consumer unit, also underneath here we have the location for the truma boiler, to drain the boiler down for travel and winterization. It's just done on the yellow lever just here. Make sure that the water pump is turned off, and then just flap it up like so. To refill, flap it back over, make sure you have water in your aqua roll, turn on the water pump, and it will then refill the boiler back up again. You may need to open your taps to force the air out. Once they're running freely, close back up, and then the boiler will then fully reprime itself. This part here is just the surge dampener. If we now return to the consumer unit, as I've just discussed, we have the isolators for components that use main supply. So we have this one here for the heating and the hot water system. we have this one, which is for the battery charger. Obviously we want this one on because when we're hooked up to the main supply we want to be charging the leisure battery. This one will let us know if we have reverse polarity connected to the van, which you may find from time to time on continental sites. We then have full system shutdown just here, so if you're not using the van for long periods of time you can press this button here and it will kill any residual draw on the leisure battery. We have the 12-volt fuses just here, which are all numbered up, and we then have also the mains. So we have the 3 individual MCBs just here, again numbered up, the main RCD and the test button. They all correspond on the sticker just here. Tucked just in the corner here we have the control board for the power touch motor mover and the location for the red isolator key. On the other side, if we go underneath this bench seat, we literally just have storage all underneath here. Tucked in the corner in the darkness just down here we do have another bank of 12-volt fuses. Again, they are all labelled up and they're for more components on the outside of the caravan, like the marker lights, brake lights, etc. In the overhead locker here we just have the head unit, on and off on the source button just here. This will also switch between your auxiliary, CD, AM and FM. Change tracks or search for radio stations just here. We have a nice easy graphic equalizer just here. Volume control in the centre. If you want to change anything you can hold the menu button in and then use the volume button to navigate through. Just hold the source button to turn it back off. Beside this, in this overhead locker, we have the solar panel regulator. We do not really need to do anything with the solar panel apart from occasionally give it a clean. The lights just here will let you know what the solar panel's up to. So at the moment it's flashing, letting us know that the panel is receiving UV light. The light above just lets you know the status of the battery. So at the moment it's letting you know that the solar panel is actually charging it. Once this light goes from red to green, it's letting you know the leisure battery is fully charged and the solar panel's gone into float mode. Next we have the microwave. It's always advisable to remove the plate for travel. Plugged in this overhead locker just here. Behaves like most microwaves. You have quick start just here, stop. You then have your auto timer select at the bottom just here. Beneath we have the hob, so we have the electric hot plate just here, operates here, and then we have the 3 gas rings, and that is to operate push, twist and press the igniter. Beneath we have the grill, and beneath the grill the oven. Beneath the oven you have storage, but also a plug plugged in, which is for the electric hot plate. Storage here, also gas isolation taps just here. They are colour coded, they're all in the on position. They match the sticker just here. They can be left alone, they are more for maintenance than anything else. I always say if you smell gas in the caravan, go to the source and turn the gas bottle off. The Dometic fridge turns on and off just here. We have a picture of a 2-pin plug for mains supply. If we don't have any mains, we can run on gas. These auto ignite themselves. And then lastly we have 12 volt maintain just here for when you are driving. At the moment we will get a little error triangle because we are not connected up to a tow vehicle. This is the sound we will also get if we're trying to, say, light on gas but the gas isn't turned on or run out, or a bit of air in the system. If you believe there is air in the system, you can press this button just here and it will then reattempt to light itself on gas. Temperature control just here. And then to open, push down. We have the removable freezer box just here. There's just a clip underneath here and here to put it in venting for when you're not using it. Just lightly push and slide out and it will then hold the door on a jar. Next we have the washroom, so we have the shower just here. Do make sure that the shower screen is clipped back for travel. We then have the basin and the Thetford toilet. The bowl does move about. Open to the cassette just here. Push the blue button on the top to flush. And then close the cassette back up again. If this has been left open and you try to remove the cassette from the outside, it will not come out. So if you are feeling resistance, just make sure nobody's left the flap open. Level indicator just here, so this will illuminate to let you know when the cassette needs emptying. If we now go into the wardrobe, we have the location for the Vision Plus television aerial. So at the back here we have the digital amplifier for it, on and off just here. Control the boost on the inner dial just here. We then have the mast itself. Loosen the collar and then push up and then get into the position you require. This green window here represents the back of the aerial. Once it's in the position you need, lock it in. Do not over tighten these collars because you can split them. Currently the aerial is in the horizontal position, so sitting flat like so. If you do need to do additional tuning, you can turn the tail just here and then flip it on its side to vertical. Do make sure that we are back to horizontal again for travel, and that the aerial is down with the green window facing you.